Hello, everyone, and welcome to Software Used in Business. The objectives for this video is to now take what you have learned in regards to analysis and business and start moving them together to try to figure out how software then can be leveraged in business, I should say. Meaning, the rest of this course is really going to be about, using our analytical skills to try to find opportunities, to find root causes of different problems, to utilize software technology, if you will, okay, excuse me, to support a business. That's what we're here for. That's what this curriculum is all about, and that's what your careers will be all about, at least initially. With that said, we need to understand a little bit more about how software has played in business up to this time. And so that's what this video is all about. Have a little bit of a history and also kind of show you how software is being used. Okay? With that said, let's get into the objectives. The common software to support business activities. We talked about business activities. Is there software out there that's currently supporting that? In a lot of ways, yes. Some of it is off the shelf, meaning somebody has already written it for us and they actually buy it and then they implement it. Some of it's custom because some of the stuff the business might be doing could be very unique. We'll talk about information needed by management. No matter what, management needs information. That's why IT even exists in a business, to provide information. We'll talk about different levels of information that management needs to be able to function day to day. We'll talk about a big game changer that happened, 20 some years ago, called the internet. As it has matured over the last 20 years, the use of the internet has really changed how commerce is done, how business is done, how consumers, shop and purchase and so on. It has really changed, and with that, what's also changed is how we as software developers develop things and utilize the benefits of the internet. We'll talk about that. Software opportunities as technology evolves. Talk about the future. Where are we now? What's the big players we're hearing about right now? Of course, in a couple of years, this video might be antiquated because they might be already big players and we're looking at something else. But we'll talk about a few. And then finally, we'll talk about custom software. I usually get a lot of questions from students like, okay, it seems like there's a lot of software already written out there. What do we do? Well, there's a lot of reasons why custom software developers are such a need, because there's such a need for custom software still, even after everything that's already been written. And we'll talk about those things. Okay? So let's get started. So common software to support business activities. Well, number one, human resources. We talked about these different business activities in my previous videos, from human resources to customer service. In human resources, usually there needs to be software of some sort to have databases of all the current, past, and future employees. Software to support these databases to be able to bring this information up very, very quickly. Most of this information includes profile information on the employees, knowledge that the employees have, company history, compensation, benefits, and so on. The knowledge piece is really interesting because what big companies do today is they want to leverage their resources, aka their employees. Sometimes you work for a big company, you get trained quite a bit. And so they wanted to inventory what everybody's been trained on. So if a new project comes in, possibly a manager wants to go know what employees have what knowledge so they can bring that team together. In a large corporation, let's say of 100,000 employees or so, it's hard just to know that. But having that kind of information at the fingertips in some type of piece of software and database is really useful. Customer service. Gosh, I could go on and on about customer service, but I expect every one of you have had to deal with customer service at one time or another. Isn't it frustrating when you make a phone call and you have to go through some type of algorithm, if you will, that to press a number to, if you're, please dial 4 if this is what you want, and dial 2 if this is what you want, and so on. Or even when you get to the customer service, they said, oh, we don't take that, or we don't deal with that. Let me forward you to somebody else. To me, that's really poor customer service. I want customers, I want to call up somebody and they know everything about me as soon as they actually pick up the phone. And the technology is actually there today to do such a thing. But as you can see, it's not implemented all the time. So with that said, there's a great need there. So good customer service requires having information available to them to answer questions and solve problems. Once you get good customer service, especially in today's world, you know it, don't you? My guess is every one of you have had good and bad. All right, but software plays a big part in having they have information about you ready right in front of them, from who you are, what you purchased, uh, how you paid for it, and so on. All right, accounting. Every business, and we talked about this in my previous video about businesses, evolves around accounting. With that said, there is a major need for every business to track their spending and to track their revenue. That's what they're in business to do, to make money, excuse me, and to in order to make money, they got to spend some money to do so. They got to pay salaries, they got to pay their bills, they got to pay for anything. It could be from procurement of materials or so on. Whatever it is, they got to pay, and they got to bring money in. They need some type of form to understand how that all comes together to make sure they always have enough money to pay their bills, and they know where it's coming from and so on. And that's what an accounting system does. What's good news about accounting is that usually accounting is accounting. And no matter where you go or what you do or what business you're in, accounting is accounting. How you set up that accounting software will be based upon the type of business you are, from manufacturing to merchandising to service and so on. But regardless, it's pretty standard. So there's a lot of accounting software that's already out there. I have a few here: QuickBooks, Quicken, Microsoft Dynamics, etc. QuickBooks is a small one for small businesses. Microsoft Dynamics would be for large businesses. But just about every, not just about every, well, I probably can say just about. I've seen a lot of businesses out there. In some cases, not all businesses have accounting software based upon how big they are. But just about everybody else should or does. All right? And based upon who you are and how big your business is, the cost of accounting software is usually, you know, pretty reasonable. You can get something for a couple $100 to a couple $100,000 based upon the complexity of your business. Sales and marketing. So if you have a big sales and marketing team, software is needed to support that entire sales process. So what is the sales process? Well, going out and obtaining customers. Okay, so you usually have a sales team going out and trying to find customers. Uh, you know, smoozing customers, if you will, all the way to basically getting the deal done and bringing that customer in house to spend money with the customer with the company. Uh, Keeping that whole process organized for your sales team is all part of sales and marketing. There's one out there called Salesforce.com right now that is a very, very popular piece of software. It's called Customer Relationship Management. However, it's really the whole idea of the process of gaining a customer. I did some training with a pharmaceutical company. I actually had to teach a pharmaceutical company a piece of software. I did this in Las Vegas. It was actually a pretty cool little thing I did, and had to go out and show them how to use their sales software to keep track of their customers and so on. And so it was kind of neat. This piece of software actually came out of China, I believe, and this company bought it, and they hired a bunch of instructors such as me to come out and help uh, teach the sales team how to use it. So there's a lot of that out there. Big piece of software that you hear about when you hit the industry is this thing called Enterprise Resource Planning, ERP software. Uh, so ERP is a business process management software that allows an organization to use a system of integrated applications to manage the business and automate many back office functions related to technology, services, and human resources. Basically, what this is that based upon the size of your company, and usually this is for pretty big companies, medium to big companies. What do I mean by medium? I don't know. $80 million in revenue plus, maybe $100 million, maybe 60 million, give or take a million between friends here. So you're talking about medium to large companies where you're getting to the billions and so on. There's software out there that people can actually go purchase okay, and that does a lot of the things from accounting to human resources to so on. Let me show you a slide here. Most ERP softwares have financial management, supply chain management, which deals with the manufacturing piece of things, manufacturing resource planning, human resources, and customer relationship management. So really what it is a piece of software that bundles a lot of this stuff together. It's all integrated. The term integrated is a key word in IT today, meaning it's all working with one database. So the information you need is shared. Information in these different facets of your business is shared in one common place. So a lot of cool information can come from that management can get a hold of. Does that make sense? ERP, like I said, you hear it quite a bit. Small companies wouldn't have it. It'd be more medium to large companies if you start working for those. A lot of programmers basically uh, work with this software. So even though this is custom software already built, there's a lot of customization that can be had in these softwares. When I say had, can be developed with this software. I know people who have graduated from our programs who have gone to work at different places, and they basically do nothing but write software that works with their current ERP system, if that makes sense. So a lot of these are customizable. I have this slide here to kind of show you some of the big ones out there. There's Microsoft, Oracle, SAP. It's not SAP, it's called SAP. That's a big German company. SAP, you'll probably see that a lot. That's out there everywhere, and probably one of the most popular ones there is. Oracle probably being the second. Infor, Epicor. I don't know Infor and Epicor. Maybe I'm behind in that. Maybe they're real popular. But SAP and Oracle are the two I have been more familiar with throughout my career. Other type of common software that you'll see, knowledge management. I kind of spoke about that before. In some cases, knowledge management might be incorporated into human resources, but I did some work with the Children's Hospital in procuring a learning management system for them, which actually did exactly what I told you before, basically inventoried their knowledge. And so those are called learning management systems. I'm not sure if they're still as popular as they once were, or they've been swallowed up into like human resource type of stuff. Again, like I mentioned before, regardless, that's there. Other pieces of software that we haven't really talked about: transactional software, point of sales. Obviously, buying a piece of something, buying something from Amazon, buying something at the grocery store, and so on. Those are huge pieces of software to keep track of every second of transactions. Very, very important to keep track of orders for customers, and all of that kind of funnels down to inventory and so on that goes on with these transactional systems. So, though I'm kind of skimming through this a little bit, hopefully you're kind of getting the idea. There's a lot of software out there. I'm not sure I'm including nearly everything that's available. Really, again, what this video is to start getting you thinking about all the potential stuff that's possibly out there. Okay, so transactional software goes very, very deep. Like I said, into inventorying, keeping track of customers, uh, promoting products. Uh, say it just goes on, and that kind of software is very, very important, especially for a merchandising type company. Information needed by management. Again, I found this slide. Excuse me. I found this slide um, that I thought was really kind of describe what I was trying to talk about. Based upon the level of management within a company, from lower, middle to top, that's what this is basically saying right here. You need different types of information to kind of get through the day. Lower management, operational information. Middle to top, tactical information. And top and middle, strategic information. Let's kind of look what those three actually mean. So operational management relates to the day-to-day operations of the organization and thus is useful in exercising control over the operations that are repetitive in nature. Since such activities are controlled at lower levels of management, operational information is needed by lower management. So this is the day-to-day, getting information to these managers who kind of, make the company work. And so they need information to make decisions. And based upon this information, the decisions can be made to go either A or B or C. That needs to be readily available. Our software, our technical support needs to make this information available. And once again, this information can come from all different facets of the company based upon what we're actually doing. Hope that kind of makes sense. Custom software may be written to provide information based upon the uniqueness of the company. All right, but regardless, management needs to be able to get this information as quickly as possible. Technical information. Technical information helps middle level managers allocating resources and establishing controls to implement the top level plans of the organization. So technical information is usually predictive, focusing on short-term trends. So now what we're doing, if you look at technical information, is providing management with trend analysis, predictive analysis, and so on. Really trying to show them where the company's going, what's working and what's not working. That requires software to dig deeper into the data to really try to come up with these trends. I did a lot of work with this before in some different companies. So managers get the trend of what products are selling, what's not selling, what demographics are buying, what demographics are not buying. Does that make sense? These reports usually tell them that. And then based upon that, management makes decisions on how to handle those situations, either promoting new products in new markets or getting products out of markets that aren't working anymore. So that's a day-to-day thing middle to top level managers are always doing to maximize their business. Strategic information. While the operational information is needed to find out how the given activity can be performed better, strategic information is needed to make decisions, making choices among business options. So again, strategic information is predictive in nature too. It relies heavily on external sources of data, has a long-term perspective, and is mostly summary in form. So this is even taking us out to now years. And so our top-level management trying to see where the economy might be going, where the the economy, the next trend, the next big thing, and so on. Maybe in a hospital, what's important today in a hospital when it comes to technologies and medicines and so on. CEOs of hospitals want to know where that is so they can actually start planning for that and maybe building buildings or getting doctors or whatever. So this is external information sometimes to what's inside going on in the business that could impact the business going forward. Why is this important for us to know? We need to make sure our software provides this information to them and gives them this information. So these are opportunities, once again, that we need to consider when we're actually working in a business and what they have and what they don't have. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, the internet. I have been fortunate to, throughout my career, to played a part in IT when I came out of college that had no internet whatsoever. So I know there was a day like that, wasn't too awfully long ago in my lifespan. With that said, we did things a lot differently, but there was also a frustration because we couldn't get stuff in a timely fashion. All right, and so with the internet, all of a sudden that changed everything. Um, Let me give you an example. Let's just say people who, it's like Dries. Everybody knows Dries, the company Dries, who builds houses. Usually there's project managers sitting in an office who are in charge of the management of building a house or maybe several houses. They would send their crews out to start building a house. They would get information usually back about how things went the next day or that night, but never in real time. And they had to make decisions really based upon old data. That was always a problem. Well, in today's world with the internet, now they can use their smartphones to provide what's going on, what they bought, what they did, and so on. And that information is now real time back to the home office. I don't know if that's a great example or not. Hopefully it is, but it's just totally different. Now, when you have businesses that deal with remote locations, that information now can be shared in real time with everybody. 10 years ago to 15 years ago, that was never the case. And so that is amazing, but how that's changed everything. So with that, this whole idea of e-business came into play. So not only from the consumer point of view and the internal point of view, there's all kinds of things now going on with the internet. E-business is a term that really came out of 2000, the year 2000. It never really went anywhere, but people were actually creating businesses around supporting e-business. It kind of died off because people weren't quite ready for it yet. And the internet wasn't mature enough or fast enough to do what actually needs to be done. Well, that's changed, and it's changed rapidly. We're now talking 4G on our phones. In some cases, we're talking 5G on our phones. Everybody has broadband now. It's not a luxury. It's almost you know, it's something we expect. Devices now are so much faster and smarter, and applications can be developed on these devices to supply anything you need and be able to get information that you need. That's what e-business is all about. When we speak of e-business, we used to talk about different models. These models have changed over the years, and if you go out on the internet, you'll find a lot more models that talk about e-business. But these are the ones you kind of hear about most of the time: B2B, which applies to one business buying and selling from another business. But basically, it's over the internet. It could be a supplier to a company who's constantly monitoring your needs, basically maybe your inventory. So maybe I supply auto parts to Ford to build something, and I can monitor their inventory. And based upon where at a certain level, I know we need to add more to it. So we're taking people out of the equation in doing this and allowing technology to support this whole process. B2C applies to business that sells its products or services to customers. Well, that's what you buying something on eBay or on Amazon, and so going online and buying something. That's B2C. C2C, customers to any customer that sells a product or service to a business over the internet, applies to any customer that sells a product or service to a business over the internet. Oh, I'm sorry, that's C2B. Same type of thing. C2C applies to sites primarily offering goods and services to assist customers interacting with each other over the internet. That'd be eBay. And so, me selling somebody to something else over the internet, Craigslist type of thing, right? So these are these e-business models. I, what's really interesting is, and like I said, there's other models in there, and the one that I see more than anything is this whole model of really just doing business transaction. How can I say it? I want to say more internal internal business processing over the internet. So it's not really interacting to a C or a B or external things. It's all internal. So what I have seen throughout my career is that big change that we can now utilize the internet to do our work internally much more effectively. And that's why most of the development that you see today is really wrapped around web-based applications. That's not a website. It's more of utilizing the web to transact internally and supply information internally. What do I mean by that? Again, a manager who might be on a ready going to the airport but needs to know how his sales were yesterday, or a salesperson needing to know how his sales were yesterday, being able to look at his phone and getting that immediately. That's really important. That's an internal internet type of process that allows him to do that, him or her to do that. Okay? So there's a lot there, and there's so much opportunity there still within many companies to utilize the internet to be able to do this, especially as speeds increase, broadband increases, and so on. The sky's the limit. I still think we just touched the tip of the iceberg in regards to what we can supply. But for the first time that I have seen in my career, we are now able to share information in real time with everybody. And that's only 10 years old. It's at its infancy. The benefits of e-business. Okay, organization, more flexible infrastructure, enhanced business intelligence, like pretty much what I was just telling you before, better and faster decisions. That's the great part of it. Production, higher efficiency, leaner value chain, high employee engagement, Usually employees know information faster, so it's easier to share information with employees about what's going on in your company. Customer, more effective and efficient marketing programs. Streamline order fulfillment, meaning I could go online and buy something very, very quickly. I don't have to get out of my chair to do it anymore. Kind of scary in one way, but boy, isn't it neat that I can go on Amazon if I need soap, or I can ask Alexa today, hey, I need soap. Next thing I know, based upon if I'm Amazon Prime or not, it could potentially show up at my door that day. Whew, things are changing. Improve customer service. It has improved. Now I can get online and actually chat with somebody or get information very, very quickly about a product or troubleshoot my issues online without having to go through that calling and Lord knows where I'm calling, and then being able to get to the right person to actually answer my questions. I love being able to go to a site and go into a chat and actually get information about that, or talking to somebody very, very simply without making that phone call, which is going to be timely and frustrating. So things have changed quite a bit when it comes to e-business. And I think you realize that. Like I said, I've been fortunate. I've seen it the other way, and now I see it today. To me, the internet has good connotations and bad connotations. This is the good. Okay, so where are we going? Uh, you know, in, as of today, we're going to talk about 2019. So if you're listening to this video 3 years from now, I apologize. I probably need to update it. But as of today, things are really changing. There's this thing called IoT. Any ideas? The Internet of Things. This is your devices now that can be utilized over the internet. It's a natural evolution of universal connectivity and mobility. Due to economics of scales, it is now feasible to equip not only every human being, but as every little thing that they own with a miniature, powerful computer that is always on and always connected. Is that scary or what? But all this information can be shared over the internet and provided back to us. It's amazing where it's going. The Internet of Things is really bringing back to C programming language. And so that's a lot of this stuff was written. And so that's one of the big things we're hearing today. Businesses are starting to incorporate that more and more. So we're individual human beings, but so are businesses. Something else to think about as we move forward. Artificial intelligence. Like I said, it's really taken off here lately. And so the idea of artificial intelligence, the volume, velocity, and variety of data generated by humans and collected from IoT sensors now far exceeds what humans can process, which leads us to exploding interest in artificial intelligence. Basically, it's intelligence that's constantly learning. It's not a human brain, it's now a computer. And based upon the more information that's taken in by this computer, it becomes I guess, a human brain in a sense, and it keeps modifying itself. The idea of artificial intelligence has been around for a long time. When I first started back in the 80s in the field, I think now it's really come into play. You know, again, based upon when you're listening to this video, Lord knows where we might be. But in 2019, we got this whole concept right now, right, of cars being able to drive themselves. They got to be able to sense what's going on. They got to learn their environment. That is artificial intelligence. We as drivers have already done this. We know how to learn our environment. We know how to predict what might be happening if we're paying attention anyway to the roads. But that's what these cars, these self-driving cars, are actually doing. And they're constantly taking information in and assessing that information and making decisions upon it based upon that. That's artificial intelligence. Is that going to change the whole business, the world of the business? Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm not quite sure how yet. I'm not that intelligent to tell you that at this point in time. But businesses are looking right now to figure out how AI can play a huge role. Virtual reality, once again, it's become a big piece, especially entertainment-wise. So now how does it work business-wise? Who knows where this will go? Okay, so computer vision is a process of recognizing physical objects in the surrounding environment and mapping them to digital entities in computer memory. People are actually making businesses out of augmented reality. Can it be used to improve upon a business? That's what people are looking at right now at this point in time. So that's, when I went out and did a lot of research to develop this video, those are the things, that I found, or those three big topics. Obviously, information is key to everything. Providing information instantaneously, quickly, that's what people are expecting today. Customers are getting that, want that, management wants that, and so on. And that's where we play a part as a software developer. Custom software. I added this slide a little bit late to this video, and because I always get the question of, well, what do we do? And so, what do we do is this: we build custom software. Just about every business has uniqueness to them. I talked about accounting. Accounting's accounting, but other than that, when it comes to the processes, when it comes to what they do, what they're selling, their competitive advantage, some of the things that we talked about when defining a business, that's the uniqueness to them. And based upon that, they do different things. They want to be different from their customers. And so with that uniqueness comes the need for IT technology or technology to support that uniqueness. And that's usually where the custom software comes into play. There has never been a time where people did not need custom software. And there always will be a time that that need is there because everybody is unique. I can't tell you the different, what the percentages are for any one company, from a canned piece of software, meaning something off the shelf, pre-written, to somebody writing custom software. One of the things we'll talk about in future videos is that when we look at solutions, we should look at canned software, custom software, and also then a hybrid form of that, meaning buying something that already works and being able to enhance it by writing custom software to do so. So there's a lot of different areas here that we play a part in as a software developer. And so that's what, again, we're going to keep learning about the rest of this course. But there's enough out there, people, that'll keep us busy forever and keep us employed forever. That's the good news. All right. So as you can see, business currently relies heavily on IT and information. Hopefully this video kind of gives you an idea of how it's done. Okay, the beauty of this course is to dive even deeper to figure out even more how technology can play into a business. The sky's the limit. In utilizing our analytical skills, we can really try to figure out more opportunities where technology can really be leveraged to improve that business. We have to be careful, though. One of the things you'll also learn as we continue this course is that we don't want to provide technology just for the sake of technology. That's not a good investment. And sometimes that actually hurts a business or puts a business behind, or just basically wastes time and money of the business and the developers. So we need to learn how to really assess what the problems are. And again, problems are opportunities, right? What the opportunities are, to leverage technology, and then do our due diligence to ensure the best we possibly can that it's actually worth doing and will really make a difference for that business. And that's when we get into the next couple weeks, we'll start talking about that. All right?